In my line of work, I deal a lot with grief, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it, especially when a celebrity dies. So, if you can tell, I've been crying at the news that Ozzy Osbourne passed away, which might seem trivial to some people, but I want to talk about how he had a big influence on my life, my whole life, how my life changed because of Ozzy. And I want to hear your stories too. So make sure you let me know in the comments how Ozzy changed your life, or how maybe any rock star's passing has affected you personally. I think it's good for us to share our grief and share our stories because it's a great way to heal and grow as people. So first off, I just want to kind of set the tone here. I was raised very religious. Obviously, I've changed a lot. I'm a tarot reader and a medium and a psychic, and I help people connect to loved ones in spirit and heal and help them gain hope again when they feel like love is lost and stuff like that. And let me tell you how Ozzy has impacted every aspect of my life like that, and how it's totally natural and okay to grieve a celebrity passing. It might not be the same when a celebrity passes versus, say, somebody in your family or somebody you're very close to, or a pet that, is part of your family. But I want you to know that it doesn't make the grief not real and not important and not something for you to honor and allow. So I met my husband because of Ozzy. He's my soulmate. I learned to fulfill my life's purpose because of Ozzy and actually break free from my social programming. So there's just a lot of reasons and a lot of things that I have to thank Ozzy for. I also learned how to forgive others because of Ozzy. And of course, he didn't personally come and teach me these lessons, but let me explain a little bit how he impacted my life. So first, this is how I learned and found Ozzy in a religious household where we only listened to Christian music. So first off, I babysat for this family when I was like 14, 15, and they couldn't afford to pay me, and asked if I would like some records. And being a kid who was born in 1980 and is Gen X, I was like, heck yeah, I'll take some records. I didn't care that records were passé and everyone was moving on to CDs. I still loved records. So I was like, yeah, I'll take the records. And I got a bunch of Ozzy and Black Sabbath records from them, some other rock records as well, but mainly they were Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And my mom gave them away. She didn't want that music in the house. So this was the start of my rebellion. And after that, I just kept listening to Ozzy anyways. She probably couldn't have stopped me if she tried. I listened to rock radio after that. I formed a band in high school, which you would never find because, it was before the internet days. And for 2 years, I sang Ozzy and Black Sabbath covers, and I learned to play guitar because of Ozzy. And so that was my life. My life revolved around this. I took so many music classes in high school. I was all music, choir, and drama. I was the artsy girl, right? In high school, when I had to write a report about a musician, guess who I picked? Ozzy. So he not only impacted me, but he impacted musicians and music in general around the world. This was a huge loss for a lot of people, right? But beyond that, my husband was also an Ozzy fan, and I was a teenager in high school. He was a college student home for the summer. We had met just the summer before when I was a third wheel on his date with my friend. Um, so it was like I knew who he was, but this was why we got together. So at Ozfest 97, which I got tickets to with my band, and my band was mostly hockey players that were like 6'3" guys, right? And we had a friend that worked at the record store, so he got us tickets 7th row to Ozfest 97, which was huge because we're from a smaller town, and to get those kind of tickets, those kind of seats was amazing for us back then. If you remember how getting concert tickets worked, you'd have to go to the stores or the actual places to get tickets. So it was very exciting. My mom decided she was going to ground me and not let me go. So I called my dad as a child of divorce, like most Gen X kids were back then, and asked if I could move in with him, but under one condition. I wanted to go see Ozfest 97. I wanted to go to this rock concert. He was very hesitant, but I think he liked the idea of me moving in and not having to pay child support, so because that was always an issue. But my stepmother tried to scare me out of going. She told me all these horrible stories, like people hurting other people at these concerts, and it was all made up, of course, all rumors. Of course, I was totally fine. Plus, I had an entire hockey team with me. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Shaun of the Dead. I was walking this way on the floor at Ozfest 97, going to our seats. My now husband and his group of friends were walking this way. It was just like that scene in Shaun of the Dead where the two groups meet and merge and walk past each other, but they stop and talk. It was just like that, and I bumped into him there. And that's what gave him the courage to call me and ask me out and notice me and decide, hey, I really like that girl. I mean, he did run into me 2 other times. It was like third time's a charm. Like he worked my first day at Dairy Queen, which was my first summer job. He came and ordered a Blizzard and I made it for him. We also ran into each other at a mall. So yeah, that's how we ran into each other. So he had to call like 4 different people to get my number and ask me out. But yeah, he's my soulmate. And we always would go to concerts together. Anytime Ozzy or Black Sabbath came, we would go. Our oldest son's first concert was Black Sabbath. We got to take him to see them at a reunion tour, and Ozzy. And so he's always been a big part of our lives. When I would make a mixed tape or CD for my now husband, I would put Ozzy music on there, the romantic songs. When I go sing karaoke, I sing Ozzy and Black Sabbath songs. But my mom threw away my Ozfest 97 shirt because I did end up moving back in with her. It was a hard time in my life. And so I had to learn to forgive my mom a lot because of all these things and her religious programming. So Ozzy helped me with that. And I don't know if you know anything about astrology, but my North Node is in Leo, South Node is in Aquarius, and with that Aquarius South Node, I had to learn to get over my hive mentality and always trying to please other people. And part of that was me accepting and loving myself for loving Ozzy and loving rock music. He changed my life in a good way, and it's okay for me to grieve. In fact, it's healthy. So if you are grieving a celebrity passing or your favorite coffee shop closing, go ahead and grieve. Allow it to flow. Just do it in a healthy way. Grief is an important part of life. And let me know in the comments how it impacted you. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.